Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ezekiel Olaniyan. That is what other people used to say, right? They will do the normal introduction and all of that. But one of the things that I've decided to do on this channel is to ensure that as much as possible, I do not give you things that you could easily Google, things that you could easily see on the internet. So that is why I've decided to share my story. And in all the stories that I'm going to be sharing with you, I need you to pick the lessons that are in there, right? So today I'm going to be talking about my visa application journey and how, I was able to get my visa approved on the second attempt. Yes. The interesting thing about this is that at every point in life or at every milestone that you make, your prayer point changes. Let me give you an example. If you are like me, or if you are in the process of studying abroad, for example, your prayer points right now will be, Father, Lord, let them give me admission. If admission comes, it will change. So, Father, Lord, let them give me funding. If funding comes, it will change. Father, Lord, let my visa be approved. If your visa is approved, it will change. Father, Lord, provide flight tickets money, and so and so and so, right? So the point is, at every point, probably I know they finish, but at the same time, no one could know they tire Jesus. All right. So at this point, before we go deeper into what I have to share with you, let's go on a very quick commercial break. We are going to be right back. All right. So welcome back, guys. The stories are a lot. They are a lot, because before shooting this video, I'm like, where do I bring it from? Do I come from the point of admission? Do I come from the point of visa application and all of that? But at this moment, I think I'm just going to break it into pieces, right? And then you can take it as it applies to you. And it's also going to prevent me from having a very long video, all right? So fast forward to getting an offer at my current program, right? I've already told you of how I was able to get admission after several denials and all of that. So now the offer came, but first it was without funding, because they told me that I was going to be on the waiting list and all of that. And one of the things during the admission phase is the fact that after you have inputted your statement of purpose and all of those things, you have another application entirely. It depends on schools, by the way, but I'm saying this based on my own school, right? So there is another application that shows if you are interested in graduate assistantship positions, right? So you literally have to apply to those positions. So they will say in not less than 200 words, describe one thing. So it's more or less like behavioral questions that they get to ask you, and if by chance you get selected, you will be awarded a graduate assistantship position, right? So that was my case. After submitting my application, I also submitted the fact that I was interested in graduate assistantship, and I submitted that as well. So now I got the offer, but I was told that I was going to be on a waiting list, blah blah blah. I was like, okay, fine, at least I'm glad that I got an offer. So now let's fire on now. Let's start getting, let's start applying, or let's start hoping that I'm going to be selected, or I'm going to get an email afterwards, right? So one of the things that I did was that I sent a message to my program director at the time, and I was like, oh, I'm super excited that I was able to get this offer at this time. Please, what about the graduate assistantship position? This is just an offer. There's no funding of any sort. So one of the things that he said was that I could apply to other department that is outside my program, right? So it necessarily does not have to be from my department. So there is a job link, right? And if you go to that job link, there's a graduate assistant position, different graduate assistant positions depending on your qualifications. I applied to 15. Immediately he told me that he just sent me the link. I just started applying. I was applying. It was another application phase for me after getting admission, right? So in the application, right, you have to also put in your CV, you have to put in a cover letter, you have to put in your references. The application is another thing entirely. Remember that you've already spent sleepless nights in writing statements of purpose, crafting your resume and all of those things. So this is another thing entirely, right, that you have to pay cognizance to. So I applied and got called for an interview. And you know the interview, right? They are going to give you like they'll send an email to you to schedule an interview with you. They'll tell you that you should select a particular time frame that actually works best for you. I remember this day, I might not go to work. I was like, this thing, we must get it. Is either we get it or we get it. So my friend Jimmy actually prepared me. So we were more or less like doing like some sort of practice questions together and all of that. She would literally let me know when I'm doing well and when I am not, right? So, and they were really helpful. So lesson that you need to pay attention to is have somebody that can hold you accountable, that you can do some sort of role play together so that you can be prepared for the actual interview, right? So I did the interview, I killed the interview. I killed it. That kind of thing. It was so fascinating to me because I literally just enjoyed. It was not like an interview that I would say, my name is Ezekiel. I'm a man, right? Or my name is Ezekiel. I'm interested in this. I have passion for this. Blah blah blah. No, it was conversational. I could remember during the interview, my GA supervisor at the time was telling me something about American football. Me that don't watch ball, I don't play ball. I said, yes, American football. I look forward to watching American football. I am a big supporter of American football. She was just laughing. I mean, I just knew that I was capping, right? But then, cap with sense. That's why it's not good to be like so rigid. You have to have an open mind when it comes to you having interviews, so that you can always think on your feet, and you could literally use anything at all to actually drive home your point. So one of the other things that I did that made my interview spectacular was the fact that I pleaded for time. So I literally presented like a 5-page presentation. I just went to Canva, did PowerPoint, I put my name, like I literally presented it like a proposal. Like if you know I have it, it's your loss. So I presented it. I wrote the name of the department that was going to hire me, and I wrote my name. I was like, presented by Ezekiel Olaniyan. Then I did an introduction. This is me. Meet Ezekiel Olaniyan. Ezekiel is a right? These are some of the things that I have done so far. This is what I stand for. Then I just put pictures to justify my points, right? So all of the pictures of conferences, of events, of volunteering, of impact, of networking and all of that, I just jam everything together, put it there. So I was speaking to each of those pictures. Oh, this was me when I was in Ghana. This was me when I was teaching digital skills to youths in my community. This was me during my national youth service. Someone that was like this before was just like this, like, let us take a look at what we are talking about, right? So that was it. Then at that point, I knew that I've already finished this interview. I knew already. So it was super exciting for me. I so much loved it. The next day, they sent reference checks to my referees. The people that I put in there, right, like my organs, they were like, Ezekiel, your people have reached out to me. I was like, please, help me submit the reference. And then they did. Few weeks, even up to a week, I think before the end of that week, at the beginning of the new week, they sent me a congratulatory message that, oh, congratulations, we are pleased to continue this with you. Please, I will look for that email and, perhaps just put it in this side of the video. It was really fantastic. So now they covered majority of my tuition fees. In fact, all of my tuition fees was covered. I was going to be getting stipend per month, and I just had about $11,000 to present to my school so that my I-20 can be issued. I did all of that. For I-20 is the document that you present to the embassy when you are going for your visa interview. So your I-20 has your name, it has your program, it has your service ID, and a lot of other information about you that gives whoever is taking a look at your I-20 an eye level of who you are and what you are going to the US for, right? So I did that, collected my I-20. Now it was time for me to prepare for my visa interview. I've been preparing for my visa interview for like 2 months. I will be inside Lagos traffic. I will put earphones in my ear. I'll be listening to other YouTube videos and other people that that also prepare people for visa interviews. Mock sessions, they call them. And I will literally just be listening. I'll listen to this one, listen to that one, listen to this one. So I got some sort of insights there. Remember, I have never been to the embassy before. In fact, before now, I actually got an admission about 2 years ago from a major university in the United States, but I did not have any form of funding. So I was like, you know what, instead of me to actually risk going to the embassy without any form of funding, I would rather not go at all. So that was what I did. So I was literally buying from other people's experience. This one went, this one this one that, and all of that. So apparently, people who went to the embassy in Lagos, they will say, there is this man, he's called the earpiece man. In Abuja, they will say, hey, there's this woman, she's called the pointed nose lady. So some people who were literally denied, maybe in Abuja, they will just come and say, hey, those people are this, they are that. They are going to be calling them uncalled names that I cannot even say here. And then they'll be like, if you are going to Abuja, avoid the pointed nose lady, avoid this, avoid that. And let me tell you one thing, you become what you continuously hear. What you hear continuously, that is what you become, because your subconscious is literally drawn to that thing that you are trying to avoid. Long story short, I went to the embassy now, right? I flew from Lagos to Abuja. I already told people that I was going for my interview. My parents, my siblings, my friends. Not all of my friends, but people that I actually hold in high esteem. The day of my interview, don't let us even go to the day of my interview. A night before my interview, I started feeling feverish. I was anxious. I was so nervous. Now remember that I wasn't the only one preparing for my interview. I also had colleagues as well. We were going to the same school. One of them is even the same department. So that makes it 3 of us that we were preparing for the interview. They were preparing for interview. I was preparing them for interview too. On first attempt, they got their own. One in Lagos, the other in Abuja. They got it. They were like, Ezekiel, visa approved. I was like, fantastic, congratulations. Hey, I'm the only one that is left. Last man standing. I was genuinely happy for them. So it was not like on my head, but all of them were just like, oh yeah, Ezekiel is going to embassy tomorrow. Let us prepare with him. Let us pay for him and all of that. I don't know where this morale just went down. I just said, you know what? I'm not doing it again. I'm not doing the interview with you guys again. What kind of questions are people asking me? You are not asking me questions that I am prepared for. And that's the thing. The embassy guys will not ask you questions that you are prepared for. Do you understand? But at the same time, don't overthink it and don't over-prepare. So, a night before my interview, I was so anxious that I started feeling feverish. I'm like, oh my goodness, what is this? That same night, I still did mock interview with someone. And I'm like, what the heck? What is happening? Why do you have to do this? And if I'm going, I don't know if this happens to you as well. If I'm going for an event the next day, for example, I always wake up before my alarm because my mind is actually where I'm going to. My interview was for 8:45 for thereabout. I got to the embassy by 5:55. I left the hotel by 5:50, got there by 5:55. It was really, very close. And I stood. Nobody prepared me that the US embassy is going to stress your life. In terms of standing, that stress, you must experience that stress. So I stood for 2 hours from 5:55 in front of me like this. 6 o'clock knock, 7 o'clock knock. I remember the day before, I actually did not even eat at all. The day of my interview, I was looking for coffee to drink. I did not take coffee. My hotel did not even have coffee as at the time I was leaving the hotel. So I went to the embassy with an empty stomach, right? This is another lesson. If you are going to go to the embassy, make sure you eat because it is battle for the fittest. You have to be mentally strong. You have to be physically strong. You have to be at alert, right? Forget all the interviews that you've done with your friends that they have told you that, so don't worry, I'm going to approve your visa, blah, blah, blah. This is the real visa questions now with a real visa officer. Do you understand? So ensure that you eat well. That is not the day that you should be fasting. Or a day before should not be the day you should be fasting. All the fasting that you've been fasting all these years, God have answered your prayers already. It's not your fasting of that day that will make them to approve your visa or not. Do you understand? So please, eat well. Back to my own case, right? I went in, they told us to come inside, what's that thing that they did? They checked us and all of that. If you have your phones, you have to drop your phone at the screening place at the Abuja embassy, and then you are now told to go to the sitting area, the waiting area. It's a zigzag kind of design with the chair. That's the chairs, right? So there are a lot of different people. People were like, I've been here 4 times, I've been here 5 times, I've been here twice. I was just myself. I was just looking. There is a guy that was sitting beside me. He has on his I-20. So on your I-20, there's something that you need to sign. You need to sign it and put a date there. The guy did not sign it. He did not put any date. In my head, I was like, I'm not going to give this guy, because that thing, it is just to show the validity of your I-20, right? I wanted to tell him, but in my head, I was like, Ezekiel, better shut up. You came here to face your own, right? Immediately, it was now our turn to enter the interview room. Go. My goodness. So when I entered, and this code just welcomed me. Like, yes, welcome to the US Embassy. I was like, hey! I just looked left, right, center. I'm just saying, I'm sorry, I cannot approve you at this time. Please feel free to apply. I'm sorry, I cannot approve your visa at this time. Please feel free to apply. I'm sorry, I won't be granting your visa at this time. I'm like, hey! Is this how it is? Somebody's destiny decided in 2 minutes or less. More. Hey, my God. So the security official now gave us like tags. Remember that I said that one of them, those people who have been at the embassy before, they came back, they are saying that, you guys, avoid the pointed nose lady and all of that. My subconscious already registered that woman. Virtually all the women that were on that window, they had pointed nose. So I already profiled the officer in my head. And don't let that happen to you. Don't listen to other people that will say, avoid this person, avoid that person. They are trained to do their jobs, right? So if your profile meets the qualification, fantastic, visa approved. If it doesn't, then you have to go back. And how you get to do this is not based on what you've written. What you've written is like 60% of getting your visa approved. The remaining 40% is more or less like what you say and how you say them. Do you understand? So it was my turn. They gave me a particular, I think it was window 10. There's this chubby woman, pointed nose. I don't know if it's pointed, but it's chubby. So the guy that I told you that I should have corrected, that I should have signed his I-20. Apparently the guy has been in the embassy before. Me, I've never been to the embassy before. So they were asking the guy questions. And it was like, I'm going to this, to whatever, to Shegba, to Shawu, and all of that. So with the way he was responding, of course, he was nervous. Everybody, you will be nervous, but you just have to control it. Do you understand? That's how the woman said, oh, you've been here before, what has changed? The guy now said, my confidence level, at that time I could not talk well, but now I can talk well. The woman just said, they just give a pick paper. I'm sorry, I cannot approve your visa at this time. My wife shouted, yeah! In front of me. He literally put his hand on his head like this. He shouted, yeah! Oh my God! So it was not my turn. I was like, what kind of person is this? Right to me or not? Because I'm very scared. So I just met with the woman. Good morning. I didn't even wait for her to say my passport and my I-20. I just said good morning. Just collect. So she just checked. She was like, oh, are you married? I said no. Have you been to the US before? I said no. Have you been out of Nigeria before? I said yes, I've been to Ghana. She cut me short. Oh, so you've been to Ghana? I said yes, for a kin. She cut me short again. What do you do? I told her, I work as a clinical. She cut me short again. How much do you earn? I earn. She cut me short. I was already tense and scared. Because at the time, right, I was seeing some visas, some transcripts that are like, they just go straight to the point, like cut, visa approved. That kind of thing. I was like, is it that I'm saying rubbish? Is it that I'm cutting in nonsense? So she was not like, okay, so how did you get this funding? That's how Oja boss too. I was like, I got this funding because I submitted my CV, my resume, my statement of whatever. She cut me short. She didn't even ask me what was going to be covering my deficits. I don't think she did. Oh yeah, she did. She was like, so what? Who's going to be covering my deficit? I said, oh, this person is going to be covering my deficit. Blah 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 blah. She cut me short. So it was now. So there was like some sort of silence, right? And then she just opened like my passport, opened my I-20, and was like, how did you hear about this school? I didn't hear what she said, honestly. So, and you have to, if you don't, if you could not hear whatever they say to you, ask them to repeat themselves. So, how did you hear about? I said, sorry, what did you say? She said, how did you hear about this school? It wasn't. No, she said, why this school rather? So she asked me, why this school in Virginia? And I was like, I chose this school because of its blend, because of its communication and advocacy. One thing. I was just saying, at this particular point, guys, I was already weak. Remember, I already stood for like 3 hours, right? I was weak already. I was just like, oh my God, let me just be going on. I'm weak. So that's how Mama just typed. She typed. And then she presented the pink paper. I'm sorry, I'm not going to reapprove your visa at this time. Please feel free to reapply. I was just like, that was literally my expression. In my head, I was like, is this how my destiny decided? Right? I come hopeless, I will go hopeless. How I got to the hotel, the motor did not jam me. It's only God that knows. I got to my hotel, called an Uber. That flight that I took back from Abuja to Lagos was the worst flight of my life. I was like, like, I called my parents immediately. They were like, because all hopes were high. People, I already told people, pressure Tiwa. Do you understand? So, I mean, I got to Lagos, you know. My mom literally came to my house that day and she was crying. I'm like, I better it. What have I done? You know. But guess what? The next day, I paid for another visa fee. I'm going to continue in the next part. See you in part 2.